All right, Michigan fans, let's be honest. 12-win season. Got to the college football playoff, and you were the Big Ten champions. Ending the season the way they did is always tough, right? When you lose that bad,
leaves a bad taste.
It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Exactly.
Yeah.
Having said that, Michigan fans, you should not stoop to the level where you need to say, well, at least we scored in a college football playoff. And let me tell you why. That totally diminishes everything you accomplished this year. Like, I get fan bases and rivalries. I think it's hilarious, me personally, outside looking in. I think it's absolutely hilarious. But you saying, well, at least we scored in the college football playoff, doesn't do much for me. Doesn't move the needle. Sorry. That doesn't mean anything. You got punched in the mouth by Georgia. And we'll get to the game a little later. But Michigan's season should only be remembered as a season where they broke through, they beat Ohio State, and they won the Big Ten championship. That was their season. And it was a season full of success. It was not a fraudulent season. Guys, you have to keep in mind the average margin of victory in the college football playoff going into Friday was 21 points per game. 21. Teams are notoriously getting whooped when they get to the college football playoff. And we're talking about allegedly the 4 best teams in college football. Cincinnati, Alabama. I tried to warn you. But no, they have 2 NFL corners. They've got Desmond Ridder. Guys, there's a difference. And Alabama and Georgia separated themselves this year. Michigan fans, you should not feel any sort of shame. You shouldn't feel like you didn't accomplish anything. You did what every team in your conference sets out to do, and that's to win the conference.
Yeah.
That's what you start your season by. It's not make the college football playoff. No. You know how you get there? Win your conference.
Right.
Now, if you're in the off chance you're Georgia, you run the table and you lose in the championship game, that's different. With Michigan, you don't have that luxury. Even Michigan State or Ohio State. None of you have that luxury. Why? You all play in the same division. Mm-hmm. So you'll never see each other at a point where you have a 1 loss and an undefeated team. And the script could flip. It'll never happen that way in the Big Ten, currently how it's set up. So yeah, Michigan, it is a success. And you shouldn't feel not one bit of any shame or disappointment. Now, look, as a competitor, are you disappointed? Absolutely. Nobody likes to lose.
Right.
Georgia punched you in the mouth. They embarrassed you on national TV. Absolutely, they did. But you know what? For a quarter and a half, you got to see the future of your program. And may I say, it looked pretty damn good. And may I also say that as a fan of college football, you got to see C.J. Stroud and what they're going to look like next year with Smith and Jimba and Marvin Harrison Jr. And Travion Henderson. They're going to look damn good. They're going to be a damn good football team next year. Michigan State. I have full faith in Mel Tucker, and he's already done a good job in transfer portal. Can he get a few more who will have to wait and see? But now, is Michigan State a 10-11 win team next year? I mean, if you told me 10.5 over under, I mean, I think everyone would take the under, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious where all the programs will be in the future. And I have all off season to talk about that. But what I will say this morning about Michigan's disaster game on Friday is you got to where every team wants to be, in a position to get to the championship game. You can't be in the championship game, Michigan, if you don't make the Big Ten championship game. Right? You made it. And not only did you make it there, you left no doubt that you were the best team in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. You left no doubt. And yes, you lost to Georgia. Does that mean you weren't the best team in the Big Ten this year? No. No. That doesn't take away from what you did. You not only were you are the best team in the Big Ten this season. There are no doubts. You beat Ohio State when it mattered. You beat Iowa when it mattered. You ran the table. You slipped up against Michigan State.
Almost ran the entire table.
You slipped up against State. You recovered. You didn't lose a single game since.
Yeah.
Up until Georgia. That's how good teams play football. That's how good teams play football. Michigan fans, look, I get it. I get you're upset. But damn it, it's a good season, guys. It's really a good season. And I hope you really take that into account. And please, stay away from my timeline with the, at least we scored in the college football playoff. Because who would you have preferred to play? That Georgia team on Friday or Alabama?
Right. That was your best.
Please don't do that. Don't diminish your season. Don't have the back and forth with Michigan State people. Don't do it. Take the high road. Maybe it's easy for me to say. Take the high road. You don't need to justify your season. You have the Big Ten championship. Now, if you want to compare the last 10 years, all right, that's going to be tough for you to justify anything, Michigan. But we're talking about this year. And moving forward, you're in a good position. It's the first time you've accomplished anything significant under Jim Harbaugh, let alone even the 6, 7, 8 years prior to him. It's been 17, 18 years since you've won the Big Ten. That's something. You did that this year. Build on it. Jeff?
No, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think, Michigan fans, you hear that too. The season is essentially a failure to some because you were expecting, especially a matchup against Georgia. A lot of people, including me, thought there was a chance. But no, they had a remarkable season. I mean, regardless of the loss to Georgia, got to think, Jim Harbaugh led his team to a win over Ohio State, historic win over that team. Those receivers, C.J. Stroud, they got a Big Ten championship, blew out Iowa, and they had a chance, and you said it perfectly, a chance to go to the national championship game. That's all you can ask for. I mean, yeah, you lost to MSU. You led in that game. You quite possibly almost swept the entire Big Ten, but that's nothing to sulk about. Like, it really isn't. And what more could you ask, especially given this team? I mean, realistically, Michigan doesn't have a number one wide receiver. I mean, Ronnie Bell went down. They don't have a dynamic quarterback yet. They have Cade McNamara, who's a great game manager, but it kind of caught up to him, and it's just kind of the reality. It's about what Michigan does from this loss. How do they get better? How do they, what do you do next year? C.J. Stroud will be back. Jackson Smith and Jigba will be back. Marvin Harrison Jr. will be there. Ohio State will be back. And Mel Tucker, obviously, we know what he does in not only recruiting but transfer portal. So it's about what they do next year. This year is nothing to sulk about. I mean, come on, you go out with that team and absolutely pretty much destroy the Big Ten, go out there all the way to Georgia, and you lay an egg. And that's what happens. You didn't show up to play. Georgia was the better team that day, and that's really all you could take from it. I mean, other than that, I'm not going to sit up here. I know we'll get into the conversation later, who had the better season, Mel Tucker, Jim Harbaugh, but it's really nothing to sulk about. I mean, the guy, what did he win? National Coach of the Year.
AP Coach of the Year,
AP Coach of the Year. So, man, give them their credit. They played a great season.
Guys, again,
they probably should have played a little better against Georgia, but
reality check. How many teams, let's just use the NFL for now. How many teams win the Super Bowl every year? One.
So everybody else has a bad season.
31 teams go home extremely upset. Some less than others because they have a losing season. But the point is, in college football, if you win your conference, that is a successful season. Now, if you're Alabama, winning your conference isn't enough. They have different standards. Michigan, you are nowhere near that right now.
Yeah, you got work to do.
Do not do that to yourselves. You may very well not even win the Big Ten next year. Ohio State may very well be a 15-0 team next year, winning it all. Be very careful. Enjoy your success.
Mm-hmm.
Do not diminish it. It's not like Michigan. I'm trying to think of a scenario where they could have gotten into the college football playoff. Maybe if they ran the table and they lost by a point or 2 points to Ohio State, and Ohio State went on to win the Big Ten, maybe they would have gotten in as a 4 seed, as a one-loss Michigan team over a Cincinnati. Maybe.
Right.
But where I'm going with this is, would you rather make the college football playoff as a conference champion or a non-conference champion? Now, Georgia doesn't care because they won their game. But if Georgia went home, you think Georgia fans care that they make the college football playoff? No.
No, they're pissed.
It's like, all right, well, you choked against Alabama, then you just lost to a Big Ten team. Really? Kirby Smart, really? That's the mindset. Michigan, you just won the Big Ten. You're 0-2 against Michigan State. Totally frustrating. I get it. You can only take care of that next year. Can't talk about it this year. You just beat Ohio State for the first time in 10 years. You had a good season. Why can't we enjoy success? And why do we bring down others to make ourselves feel better? What's wrong with us? Seriously.
Yeah.
We suck as humans.
And it's even Michigan fans by themselves as well.
It's not only we suck, we've always sucked. But like social media is allowed us to see just how bad and stupid we are. You know, it's like a look at yourself in the mirror. You know, you stand like 15 feet back, you think you're in shape. You're really close to the mirror. No, turn around, turn to the side. You see how in shape you are.
You start having some doubt.
Michigan fans, look in the mirror. You had a very good season. Please, I really encourage you to enjoy the whole offseason. Enjoy spring football. Enjoy it all. Because when it kicks off next year, I don't care about last year. And what I mean by that, and it doesn't mean Jim Harbaugh should get fired if they lose a game or two next year. No. What I mean by that is it's football time. I don't care that you won last year. Win again. That's going to be your expectation, guys. Enjoy it. You have a good football team. Nothing wrong with that. You lost to a better football team. They have 45-star recruits. You had 7. Your quarterback was a dud. Their quarterback and their offensive line and their tight end really put it together. Sorry. And excuse me. I'll bring up Cade McNamara later. But I don't know how more right I could have been on Cade McNamara. And I'm really upset that it took up until the college football playoff game for you guys to understand what I meant. You can win football games with Cade. It's never the argument. Can you win a game when the game plan doesn't go in your favor? Michigan had not trailed all season up until Georgia. And up until Michigan State. Towards the end. And what Cade do? Nothing. In the 2 sample sizes you got, against State and Georgia, he did nothing.
You've reached the end of the video. You know what you should do? Press like. You know you like the content that we have here at Woodward Sports Network. I'm Braylon Edwards from the bottom line. Subscribe to us right now.